Hi there and welcome to a short macro video. We're going to take a look at 3 labour market charts for the UK to give you some context of what is happening at the moment to the rate of unemployment. The latest data published just today shows that the UK unemployment rate for July through to the end of September in 2017 was 4.3%, and that's the joint lowest rate since 1975, so hence historic lows. It's over 40 years now since unemployment has been this low, and clearly this kind of data hits the headlines because unemployment is a key macroeconomic objective. Unemployment falling, but so too continually falling are the real wages of most people in work. Pay is lagging behind inflation. That's something worth keeping in mind. But in this short video, we're going to take a look at 3 bits of data on the UK economy, all specifically relating to the labour market. First of all, the unemployment rate. Now, unemployment in the UK is measured as those people not in work, but those who are actively seeking and available to work, using the labour force survey. And the actual number of people unemployed, according to the latest figures for September, was 1.42 million people, and that's just about 60,000 less than for the same period previous 3 months during the summer, and about 180,000 less than a year ago. So this chart shows the unemployment rate. Now that is the percentage of the labour force, the proportion of those people in work plus the unemployed. That's the percentage of those people who are out of work, and it's 2016 it was 4.6%. and it's now down to 4.3%, the joint lowest since 1975. So you can see here that Britain, the UK labour market, is reaching levels of unemployment last seen more than 40 years ago. And a key question, I suppose, is how much further can the unemployment rate fall? A second chart that's related to that is the employment rate. Now, sometimes in exams they give you data which is not quite what you're expecting. So this chart shows the employment rate, and that's the proportion of people who are aged between 16 and 64 years who have a job. Perhaps that's part-time, perhaps it's full-time. Somebody might have more than one job. So it's the percentage of people who are in work, and the data you can see follows a cyclical pattern. It fell sharply during the recession of the early 80s, and again the recession of the late 80s, early 90s. We saw a fall in employment after the global financial crisis 2009, 2010. Since then, particularly since 2011, 2012, the employment rate has been increasing. The latest figure has the employment rate at 75%. So 3/4 of people of working age, 3 people in 4 are in work, either full-time or part-time. And that's about 0.5% higher than a year ago. If one looks at the sort of figures by gender, 79% of men are in work and 71% of women, both of which are higher than a year ago. The crucial takeaway point here is the employment rate in the UK is definitely much higher than it was or has been in the last 40 plus years. So we've got falling unemployment and we've got a rising employment rate at the moment in the UK. However, our third chart hints at some slightly deeper issues in the labour market. So this chart shows the rate, again the percentage rate of economic inactivity. Now the economically inactive are people of working age, people aged from 16 to 64, who are not working, they don't have a job, nor are they seeking to work, and nor are they available to work. So the percentage of people of working age who are not either in work, looking for work, or available to work. That figure has come down in recent times. This figure, the data here shows the economic inactivity rate since the late 1980s. Big changes actually within the figures, but gradually there's been a decline in economic inactivity over the years. Now looking at the detail, as we stand now, there's about just under 9 million people in the UK, or about 22%, 9 million people of working age who are economically inactive. And getting people who are inactive back into work is one of the big policy challenges for any government, including the current one. Of those 9 million people who are inactive, the biggest two categories are students, so about 27% of the total is people who have stayed in full-time education, and about a quarter of the total is people who are staying at home looking after the family, perhaps caring full-time for an elderly relative, or perhaps a young mother or father staying at home to look after the family. Equally important, there are still over 2 million people who are not looking for work because of long-term sickness. So they might be suffering from a chronic health issue which is stopping them becoming active in the labour market. And that figure actually has gone up in the last year or so, and there's been another sort of 40,000 people who are economically inactive due to long-term sickness. So the takeaway point for me is that unemployment is falling. That's good news. There are more people in work. That's good news. Economic inactivity in the long term has fallen, but actually there's still 9 million people in this country of working age who, for one reason or another, are not active in the labour market. Some of whom have given up the search for work. Perhaps they're long-term unemployed, and that's a major issue, both economically and socially. And that depth of long-term chronic sickness, 2 million people who are economically inactive because of sickness, is also again an issue which has a huge consequence, not just for the people themselves, clearly, and their families and their communities, but also for the government in terms of welfare payments, NHS costs, and the fact that the economically inactive, if they're out of the labour market, they're not participating and have a job, of course they're not going to be contributing tax revenues, direct tax revenues such as income tax and national insurance. So the government will be very keen, I think, to get economic inactivity down, even more people back into work, paying their taxes and things, and taking some of the burden off the wider welfare system. So here we go. Unemployment is big news in the economy. It continues to fall, even though the economy is slowing down a little bit. The rate of unemployment is falling. If you want to do some revision on unemployment, I suggest you go to our economics page on the website, tutor2u.net. Just choose your subject, economics, then choose your topic, unemployment, or go to our collections page. So collections are where we gather together all of our resources on a particular topic. So there could be an update, a stat update for your exams, there could be a study note, there could be a student video, or perhaps a chance to go through a multiple choice question on unemployment. You will find all of the unemployment resources gathered together in one easy place under our collections, and that might be worth having a look at. Okay, thanks for joining me on this short video on unemployment.